Yo, what's going on everybody? My name is Ryan and this is Mark 45 Studios. Today you are looking at a LEGO Star Wars Rise of Skywalker set, meaning that this isn't a new set. This was first released in 2019 when The Rise of Skywalker was a new movie coming out, and yeah, but I decided to do it anyways because I did the 20th anniversary Slave 1. It would only make sense that I do the Millennium Falcon as well. So this is the Millennium Falcon from The Rise of Skywalker. Now of course LEGO has made so many different versions of the Falcon, including the UCS Millennium Falcon, which is still up to record the most expensive LEGO set ever. So of course only so few people can afford and do that set. I am not one of them. I'm not gonna lie, the UCS Falcon, if I wanted to do it, I would have to, number one, save up a bunch of money and therefore not get a bunch of the other sets, and secondly, it would take a lot longer to do because it's a huge set. So I'm keeping my expectations not so high by keeping it, or just staying with the minimalistic, this version, you know, the smaller standard version, the more affordable version. This is only $130, which of course is still pricey, but this is the cheaper, affordable version of the Falcon, and the UCS one is just honestly for those who are hardcore LEGO Star Wars fans and want to go big. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Here is the box. As always, I've always had this problem, the glare. There you go, you can see set 75257 with 1,351 pieces. Of course, you got the Kylo Ren up there to represent this is for the Rise of Skywalker. And this is before they switched to the white background with the Vader and everything. So this is old Star Wars, and there you go. Big box. Yeah, it's a box, so what more can I say? Here's the back of the box. Look at that, all those play features being shown. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and yeah. You know what's even more cooler? When we take a look at the stuff within this box. So, let's do that. Alright, let's get straight down to the juice. Of course, this is not as big as the UCS. This is $130, so therefore it is a pretty standard size. But even for a standard size, it is still relatively pretty big. Like, this is my hand. This is how big the Falcon is. It is actually still pretty big, and I already had trouble trying to find a space for it in my shelves. So you know this is gonna be a pretty hefty set. So of course the weight, mass, obviously of it is a lot, but obviously it's the cheaper version. And I know LEGO has made, again, many other versions of the Falcon in the past. This one is actually my first. So what I'm speaking here is my first impressions of the Falcon. First impressions though, on the outside, looks just like it, like the real Millennium Falcon. I really think. Good job. Now, of course, this is in the sequels era, so it's a little bit more old, rusty, and downgraded. It's expected, but I think LEGO executed exactly perfectly the way that that it should be. They've also included a couple new play features that previously weren't available in the older versions of the Falcon. Of course, number one being the spring-loaded shooter, which was of course the hot new thing for LEGO Star Wars. And of course, they are seated right in the front. The previous versions obviously didn't have spring-loaded shooters. I'm not quite sure if the UCS one does. Let me know if you have the UCS Falcon, then you can tell me if the spring-loaded shooters work. And to shoot him, you just basically stick your finger in this hole, and it just shoots it like that. The other one goes in here. So there's no like trigger, you just purely use your finger to just to trigger it, like that. So, not quite sure if you saw it, but that is one of the very first things that stood out definitely from the others. As far as the other things are concerned, here is the cockpit. Of course, the cockpit is always on the left side here, and of course the whole thing can be detached, so you can fit two minifigures, not one but two. Obviously given the scale of this set, you can't fit everyone in. I'm pretty sure in the UCS Falcon you can, but in this case, obviously, 2 is good enough. Perfect for a pilot and a co-pilot. It is going to be a little bit claustrophobic, but it's fine. Also, Dio is included in the set. I'll take him out, but you can sit Dio back there if you want. Here he is. We'll show him with the other minifigures. And then here is, of course, the control panel, the infamous hyperdrive lever to send the Falcon into hyperspace. And then, once again, I just want to show you, this is the cone piece, which is used for the cockpit, which is, I believe, the same piece used for Dio, the big, wearable Dio figure. But I'm not quite sure. But that way, of course, this is your way of accessing it. Accessing the cockpit with your minifigures, and that's playability at its finest. So they've done a good job of that. Now, of course, the whole Falcon has an interior, but we've got a couple more things to show before we look at inside, such as the turret up here. That is, of course, one of the main weapons for the Falcon to shoot at those TIE fighters. Can rotate a full 360. There's that. And then, of course, the satellite dish right here. I think I just broke a piece. No, I didn't. That's fixable. There you go. Satellite dish piece. And of course, we saw it get ripped off in Return of the Jedi. But obviously, as you can see, they have fixed it. So, there's that. Another important feature is there is the hatch. And because in the Rise of Skywalker and in Empire Strikes Back, they use this hatch to, number 1, transmit the message from the Resistance spy. Number 2, for Empire Strikes Back, is the one where they rescued Luke in. So, most importantly, a funny Easter egg I want to point out is the use of this piece here. They're using paintbrush, or the paint roll tool pieces, and I think that's pretty funny. Like, that's creative in terms of the usage of different out of the ordinary Lego pieces. Like, this is what makes Lego Lego. Like, this is funny. I find it a little bit random, but you know what? It's fine. We'll take it. And then, of course, the back of the Falcon has the big blue engine, iconic for the Falcon, as you can see. So there's that. Another funny piece. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I reminded myself. Telephone piece in gunmetal gray, just integrated right on there. That's so funny, the usage of these funky pieces. And then finally, the bottom of the Falcon has, again, another turret, the underbelly turret to shoot at the TIE fighters. Now, this is where I found it a little bit disappointing, and that is the stands, of course, to stand the Falcon up. However, they're not retractable. You can't fold them back. They're just locked in place. So if you pick this thing up to fly around, these things, the stands are just gonna still be there. You're just gonna be stuck in that position. And the only way you're gonna remove them is to actually forcefully remove them. So I kind of wish there was a way to retract this, but I guess the super tight security will allow the heavy weight of this Falcon to stand up on its own. But I'm a little bit disappointed by that, but yeah, oh well, you win some, you lose some. So, it is time for us to crack open this thing and look at the inside of the Falcon. Now, first and foremost, this is like the main hatch area. So first things first, one of the main things of the main hatch where Luke gets rescued, and of course where Finn transfers the message is in here. And then you pull this out to almost have it act like a ladder. Fortunately, it's gonna be a little bit hard to keep it in place. There's not really a way for you to lock it, but of course it is something you can pull out and have Finn climb on. So there's that, and this just closes up super easily. Now let's take a look at the interior of the Falcon, starting off first by lifting this open. Or actually, yep, you gotta do this. Yes, to move it forward. And then fold these open. That's how you're gonna get inside. And it's the same thing for the other Falcons and the UCS Falcons, all the same. You just open it flap by flap. Here's the back. And then, oh, I completely snapped that one. There we go. So, now we have everything opened up. We now have the full access to the interior. So now we can actually look at inside and see all the other things inside. Now as you can see, even with the small size of this thing, there's still plenty of space for your minifigures to roam around. And that's good, because sometimes with these kind of sets, when you find them really big, you expect them to be small and compact. It's not the case for here. You can actually, it's obviously not as up to scale. The UCS one is up to scale, but there's still enough play space for you to put your figures around, and that is important. You don't want claustrophobic. You don't want to be claustrophobic, except for when you're in the cockpit, but that's an exception. So here is the, I guess is the area where Han and Chewie, or in this case, Rey and Chewie now, because Han's dead, to sit and chill and make food and have coffee and stuff. And then this is like all like the hoses and anything that they're trying to fix. Now I'm sure this is like a crate of like parts. And then another thing, I guess, right here, which I think it's a play feature. Yes, it is. It is one of the Falcon's secret things, and is the secret compartment, which you can lift this baby right open, which you can store, hide someone, hide the cargo. And that's exactly what this ship is famous for. That's how Han was able to get away with so many things to smuggle, because he hid them all underneath here. So, unfortunately, the real thing, the entire ship, all the floors can be done like that. But in this set, only this section, as is indicated with the color change being gunmetal gray. Well, you know what? That's alright. At least we have a form of that play feature. And then back here we've got two beds. I believe these are beds. Not quite sure what this is. Is this the hyperdrive? I don't think that's the hyperdrive. It's just some sort of table. But these two are just beds for your minifigures to rest on after a long day. And then coming on this side, this is for easier rotation. You can see this is the area where Chewie and Poe and Finn and everyone else played that iconic game that we see from Star Wars, and the one that were like, don't make Chewie mad, don't make Wookiees mad. It's not a good thing if Wookiees become mad, and yeah. So this table has a lot of history in Star Wars, a lot of iconic scenes take place here, and it's a nice piece. That is a shield piece. So that is a good representation. And then you get the, I guess, the maintenance panel right there, but with another seat just there that can turn 360. And then over here you got just another trash can, and then with the door right here, which I believe is to open up to the cockpit, but obviously it's locked in place because it's meant for display only, and to make it look like it, and of course to actually access the cockpit you open up the cockpit for. It's not so realistic, but it's how the play feature works. Now this looks like an absolute mess. Let's clean that up by folding everything back in. So this is easy cleanup, super easy. Oh wait, this actually goes first, I think, or I might be wrong. Actually, yeah, it's like this. And yeah, there we go. Boom, we have restored the Falcon back to its original state. I actually keep thinking I messed this up. I think I did. I think it's like that or something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. Okay. So yeah, in the end, not a bad Falcon at all. Obviously, I think there are some better versions, especially the UCS, but this still does its job quite efficiently and quite well. And I'm genuinely pretty happy with what came out of this. So there's that. So that is the Falcon. Let us take a look at the minifigure. Alright, it is minifigure time. So, I just want to start off simple here. So we're going to start off with the droids. So there's 3 droids that are included in this set. Number 1, Dio. Again, he's one of the newer characters for Rise of Skywalker. I've already done the big buildable version of Dio, which also has this exact same minifigure. And he's also included in the LEGO Star Wars 2020 Advent Calendar set. So this guy isn't new to me. And I gotta say this every time I see him. He's okay, but I find his head too small because his head is actually supposed to be a lot bigger than his wheel. So I don't think this is too up to scale, which is slightly disappointing, but oh well. It's LEGO. Next up, classic R2-D2. Of course, the more updated version. We've seen this guy appear in a lot of sets. Lots and lots of sets. Hasn't really changed much. Still has the same articulation and same prints. So yeah, that is R2-D2. And then we have C-3PO, another familiar face that we've seen a lot. And so yeah, nothing new for him. Just your old average C-3PO minifigure. That is these 3 droids. Of course, these droids are significant characters to Star Wars, but they're not really new or any exciting special minifigures for this set. So next up, we've got Finn and we've got Lando. And notice how there's no Han in this set. Well, that's because Han is dead. But this is actually, I think, the first time we got the Falcon without Han. But we still have Chewie. So here's Finn. Not bad at all. This is my first Finn, I will say that, because I've actually never gotten these sets back then. Not bad. I really like his hairpiece. I don't know why, I just find Finn's hairpiece really satisfying for some reason. It's one of my favorite molds, I'll say that. He's got his handbag, of course. Here's his second face, a kind of more concerned, freak out face. I'm not gonna lie, I actually prefer LEGO version of Finn more than the actual Finn. I just feel like he looks cooler here. He looks more I don't know, there's something about his hairstyle that I'm more happy with here. But you know what, still not bad. And of course, we have our iconic Lando Calrissian in his old prime years. And of course, Lando has been sitting out for Force Awakens and Last Jedi, so it would only make sense that J.J. Abrams brought him to Rise of Skywalker, and of course he did, which wasn't, and he didn't disappoint us with that. But of course, some people weren't too happy with the movie, but oh well. Anyways, yeah, he still never lost his cape shine. He's very, very capey, almost looking like a wizard. That is classic Lando for you. Forgot what this gun does. If you remember, correct me in the comments. And I forgot what the staff does either. I don't remember whatever he's wearing here. I think it was the stuff he used on what planet was it that they ran into Lando? I don't remember. It was that he used. And then there's his face with his hair piece. And then, does he have a second face? He has a second face, but it's kind of hidden behind the cape. Don't know how I'm going to show this. There you go. Don't know if you can quite see it, but boom. Lando Calrissian. I think this is the only set you can get this Lando minifigure. So, there's that. Not bad for both of these guys. And then finally, the last 2 minifigures on the list. We have our classic Chewbacca. We've seen a great many times in many sets. Still has his big hairy head mold specifically made for him, and of course it makes him really, really heavy. Bowcaster, which is a stud shooter, always has been, and yeah, looking proper, looking good. And then we have this dude, who was the deliverer of the message from the First Order spy that was trying to deliver the message to the Resistance. Bolg, I think that's his name, Bolg? Or Bold, or something like that. Yeah, although he didn't do too much, he still is one of the important characters of Rise of Skywalker, and I think LEGO did a pretty good version of him. The head, of course, is a special mold just for him, and yeah, so pretty classic figure. I think, again, this is the only version you can get this guy, and of course Chewie, we've seen him pretty much everywhere. So that is it for the minifigures. Let's wrap it up with the final verdict. Now remember what I said in the beginning, the Falcon, LEGO's made many versions, many versions. So far, I think this one is pretty good. I would recommend this, and I have a feeling it will retire soon by 2021, so you might want to get this set as soon as possible, and by the time you're watching this, it's like nearing Christmas. I think this will be a perfect Christmas gift, and it should be cheaper given the fact that this was out since last year to celebrate the Rise of Skywalker. So it's been a year since the Rise of Skywalker came out, so that's why I really think, yeah, this would make sense if you wanted to get someone a Millennium Falcon. I would say this one. Of course, not the UCS Millennium Falcon. This is good enough. I'm happy with this. It's small, yes, but for a small ship like this, it's fine. I'll take it. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. There's a little bit of flaws happening, like the stands not being able to fold up when it's in flight mode. But apart from that, I think that's it. So that's, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you want to see the Slave One and the other LEGO Star Wars sets, be sure to check out them in the full playlist. And that's it for this one. Talk to you again later. Hit that like button, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.